So here we have our Sepia Brown 1970 911S Coupe, no sunroof. This car was sold new on the east coast of the States and made its way in the 80s to Canada and has been owned by a total of 9 people, all of whom kept pretty ridiculous records on service work and condition and gas prices. Everyone seems to have had a soft spot for it, and it really shows. The most recent owner had quite a prolific Porsche collection, and this was the first earlier air-cooled 911 he bought, and he spent a lot of time and money making it right. Never planned on selling it, and so it's in pretty incredible condition. He was kind of a guy for details, a lot of aftermarket lenses and these little horn covers. They usually don't fit very well. I've seen lots of restored cars where fitment isn't great. He tracked down an original hood badge, the right orange color. It's not too shiny. Basically just a super clean car. Just do a quick walk around. We're down at local restoration shop that have done a bunch of work on various cars we've owned, and had it here for an inspection and an oil change just to make sure everything was absolutely ready to go for its next home. Just give you guys a quick look around. This was also actually from the same car collection. That's a 98 Carrera S with something like 14,000 miles going over there. Alphas, Mercedes, a pair of 66 911s. Just lots of very cool stuff going on here. These guys know what they're talking about, and they know air-cooled Porsches really well. We're gonna go for a drive in a bit with Eric Coachwerks, and Eric is early 356 and 911, 912 guy. It's what he focuses on, and he's gonna have some things to say about the car in general, and I'll be doing some filming while we just go for a little drive around the block. This car was optioned with a rear wiper, heated rear window. Not too many extras for back then, but see, there's the original wiper motor. Any comments on the engine bay, Eric? I'm not as familiar with the 1970s. Anything modified, or does that look in general?
There have been a few sensible upgrades, like pressure-fed chain tensioners. It has the reinforced 930 lower valve covers to prevent leaks, and SSI stainless heat exchangers.
And the Carrera oil tensioners are these lines right here that, yeah. Now we did check the numbers in accordance with the COA, and the engine and the chassis and all that matches up. Might try to get a Cardex sample. We might be able to, so we'll see if we can pull that as well and go over everything else. Putting it up in the air here. I know I've posted underside photos, but I think it's probably a good idea to just go over everything again. Got the light on, so this should work nicely. Now, this car was Z-barted quite a long time ago, and the most recent owner had cleaned up a lot of it and removed it from areas that it shouldn't have been. But it seems to have done its job protecting the car. You can see here the different valve covers. Exhaust is in good shape. So what are we looking at under here? What, these are the reinforced valve covers you were talking about?
Yeah,
Is that
the
right?
extra ribs here prevent them from warping, which often results in oil leaks along the lower edge there.
Right.
So this is just an upgrade from a later model 911 engine.
Just a useful thing to have on here. And then what were the SSI
These
heat
are the
exchangers?
stainless steel. It's part of the exhaust system. So it's all stainless steel, so it won't rust out. Works a little better than the standard steel one, and gives good performance.
Awesome. Do we know what kind of shocks these are? Not, they're not.
Red, so they
Probably
would
Coney.
probably be Coney's. Yeah.
The transmission number right here. So I am completely backwards to see it, but there it is, 7105497. And it's a 911/01, which is probably
That's right.
the right, yeah, for a 1970. And it looked like someone's replaced all of the bushings and hardware.
Yeah, looking through it, somebody spent a lot of time with replating in CAD and zinc and replacing fasteners where they needed to be. Looks like the axles done recently, new axles and CV joints.
Oh yeah, nice. Those look great, don't they?
Overall, just it's an older restoration, but obviously not much mileage on it.
Pretty clean. Yeah, he really didn't drive his car as much. I think he had about 12 different cars. Now this is Z-Bar stuff. This is normally on cars that didn't have it. These are just bare metal or
No,
painted.
normally there'd be a gravel card on here. This feels a little bit sticky almost. I don't know what it is that's on there. It looks kind of like the original, but I suspect it's not the original to the
I think
car.
he had some removed and then redone.
That Z-Bar, I think, usually goes inside.
Inside
channels.
doors and-
This is just a typical kind of gravel guard material.
And again, up here looks like the same kind of effort went into.
And one of the features on some of the 911s is this alloy brake caliper. So it's a magnet, not sticking.
Is that unusual or is that
Yeah,
just an
normally
S thing?
At this time, most cars were cast iron calipers. So just the S's have the light alloy.
There's no chips or anything goofy going on down here. No fog lights. I forget if they were on the build sheet. They're an easy thing to add and remove.
The wiring should be there regardless.
Can't quite tell. It's got again the alloy brake calipers, but overall just super clean and well taken care of. Not used a lot. Maybe you could tell me what you were saying about the compression and leak down that you did on the car?
Yeah, so I did a compression test and leak down. I think I have the numbers elsewhere, but I think the lowest was about 165, the highest was about 175, so nice, decent range, very close together. And then leak downs were between 7 and 9%, so very healthy engine.
It doesn't seem to blow smoke even when cold. It's
Nope.
healthy motor. That whine reminds me a little bit of the going. So that's the fan? That's
Yeah.
not the gearbox, or the
Yeah, and the Golding is the gearbox.
going is a gearbox. This interior, I think, was called just after 5 o'clock on what are we, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday? Something like that, Tuesday. So there might be a little bit of traffic. We're here in Victoria, British Columbia. And go through town quickly, see if we can get a little bit of speed up. These motors are a higher compression than the T and the E, is that
higher
right?
compression and a
little
more aggressive cab spec. Quite a bit more horsepower.
180, I think.
I think this one's rated at 180 din.
Yep.
Is the additional power is up at higher RPM, so when you're driving it at lower RPMs, it's not quite as responsive as it could be.
Right. Dash is in actually pretty nice shape. It looks like it was probably redone. They don't normally hold up that well, do they?
No.
These grills tend to crack. Lots of things shrink from sunlight. This would have been original, hey? The strange pattern on the doors.
Yeah, it looks like it. So it's you hear a little bit of a crunch going into second. I think when the transmission's cold. Once it warms up, it seems to be
sort
fine.
of like a Gino. Not everything gets oiled as well until. So I wonder what year that is from.
But the blow pumps with the blue dot there, I think, started around 70, 71 or so.
So it's probably period, right?
Correct.
Should it have had green gauges then, or
no? No,
this was tricky to find. Up nicely. It takes a long time for the oil to heat up on these, doesn't it?
Yeah, you have 10 liters of oil roughly. You can dry some.
How do the brakes feel?
Brakes feel good. Yeah. Pedals high.
So a high brake pedal is a good indication. A high clutch release is not such a good.
Yeah.
How's the clutch on this one?
Yeah, it feels good too.
About the middle.
Yeah. Overall, it feels pretty good. The steering is tight. The suspension feels pretty good. It's maybe a little rattly just because of age, but,
and not being driven a lot.
Yeah.
Does this have the Webasto heater? They got rid of those by 1970.
I think they may have been available. I'm not sure. But with these SSI headers,
you get no
stainless
problem.
steel headers, you get heat sooner and cleaner, more reliably. So
that's the red lever just to go over these on old. Defrost for the front windshield?
It opens your heater flaps to allow heat inside the car.
Okay.
You'll feel it out of the outlets here when it's on.
So the heat controls here don't control the
This controls traction, it controls the booster fan.
Right.
And hot and cold mix.
But this adds a lot of heat to the mix,
Well,
right?
you need this on to get the heat from the engine and all.
Okay. Once you get into that 5,000 plus range, it really has a lot of pull. Good oil pressure throughout. The temperature, and it's not that warm today, but the temperature is always, I don't think I've seen it much higher than 190 or so. With an oil-cooled engine, it can run a lot hotter than that, can't it?
Yeah.